This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
How you feeling, bro? You feeling good?
Feeling good, man. I can't complain.
So, by the way, just to kind of get off the beaten path a little bit, the Freddie Ramirez story, you saw that yesterday, right?
Yeah, the sheriff from Miami-Dade PD.
Did you find it weird in that story that he had the argument with his wife prior and he put the pistol in his mouth and then they let him go?
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand how you could let somebody go after that.
Right.
Isn't that
part of the story? Yeah. That's the part of the story that threw me off yesterday. Like, wait a minute, you let him leave after that? Like,
yeah.
Like, man, maybe you could have saved the man from all this now, and his family too, unfortunately. I don't know the whole gist. I don't know what's going on. Obviously, something's going on, and prayers to everybody. But wow, man, that story threw me off a little bit when I just so weird. And he comes off very likable on what he does publicly, So
Yeah.
wishing them the best in the family in recovery. It's tough. All right, so what have you learned roaming around Charlotte?
Well, I got a chance to talk to Mario for about 25 minutes a little while ago when he first got here. Talked with Tyler Van Dyke, Cam Kitchens. I haven't had a chance to speak with Matt Lee yet, so they've 3 out of the 4 so far, but it's early. I've learned that obviously Miami's made some roster changes. There's been some guys that are no longer on the roster that were backups. Nobody, necessarily big or important. I know Miami's leadership council has grown this year in the offseason. It's grown from 6 guys a year ago to 13, so that's a good sign. What else have I learned? I mean, Mario seems to me that he's excited about this roster. I mean, 42 new players, 7 new assistant coaches since the end of last season. So I think all in all, you look at the changes that he's made. There's some tangible changes, and I see more of a smile on his face than I did a year ago when he first got the job.
Well, we haven't played any games yet, so
yeah,
there's plenty of things that could take that smile off. Hopefully, hopefully we start to get to see more of what he's all about. And I think that was the frustrating part for Mario is that his identity for a football team, because we know what his identity is. It's going to be physical play. It's going to be punch you in the mouth. They're going to run the ball and all that kind of stuff. And they could not do those things, last year. And so this year, it's more about hopefully you're inching closer to the characteristics that he wants for his football team.
Yeah, I think that's really what it's about for him. He said about having guys at Miami that want to be at Miami. And I think last year when he first took that job, he didn't know what that was going to look like until he actually coached those guys and got into the heat of the moment with them. And so I think from a physical perspective, they look a lot more like the kind of team he wants to be from a size and depth perspective. I think he's happier with the roster. But you're right. They got to go out and prove that they can get punched in the mouth and get back up. When Texas A&M lands that first haymaker, what kind of team is Mario's Hurricanes going to be? Are they going to resort to being what they've been the last few years, or are they going to start to show the kind of character that he wants to show? So he doesn't know that until you get in the heat of the battle. But as far as everything in terms of changing the culture and changing the roster, this is, in year 2, much more of what Mario wants it to look like.
How much of the battle is there on the offensive line? Because if you're going to level off on offense, those 5 guys need to find the 5 guys you're going to go to, to battle with every single week. And you've got to find a way to develop some consistency on that offensive line. So how many jobs are up for battles, and how difficult will it be to finally settle in on those 5 guys?
Well, I don't think it's going to be difficult at all. I think they had a pretty good spring with the group of guys that they expected to be ready. I think, looking at Matt Lee, looking at Javian Cohen, the 2 transfers that they added, I think those guys are cemented at center and left guard. I think Jalen Rivers will be one of the other starters for sure, somewhere on that offensive line. I think Inez Cooper will probably be your right guard, and then your right tackle is probably going to be Francis Maungoa. I asked Mario today about Zion Nelson, still recovering from his surgery, so I don't think Zion Nelson is going to be ready to necessarily go at the very start of fall camp, which to me puts him into one of those modes where he's going to be behind those 5 guys that should be the starters. So eventually they expect to get Zion back, but they're kind of treating him with kid gloves right now. They're not rushing him back. They feel good about the 5 that they have. They feel good about a lot of the young offensive linemen that they've added to this roster. I think Matthew McCoy is a name to know, a second-year player. I think he's the kind of guy who could be in the competition for one of those tackle spots. So I think from a competition standpoint, you will see some, but I think the 5 guys that I've mentioned already will probably be their starting lineup game 1.
What do you tell the overzealous fan that thinks they're going to win 10 games and possibly challenge for the ACC?
I said it's great to have hope. It's great to believe that, they could have a season like that. I know Tyler Van Dyke thinks they can have a season like that. He thinks that, he brought up TCU, he brought up Florida State as 2 teams that went from 5 wins a year ago to 10 wins and playing in the national championship game. And he thinks that Miami can do the same thing. So your quarterback certainly believes that. I think there's guys on this roster believe that they can have a big turnaround. Me, the 26-year veteran reporter who's been on this beat for a long time, I don't have as much faith because I simply think it's going to take time for a lot of the true freshmen that Mario's going to count on to really start playing at an elite level. But do I think Miami's going to get better as the year progresses? Do I think Mario could potentially win 8, maybe 9 games with this team? I don't think it's out of the question. I think there's a possibility. I'm just not expecting a ACC championship or a playoff berth or anything like that. So for the Miami fans that are hoping for that, it's great to have hope. I think the reality is you should probably stay grounded a little bit more and allow the process to play out.
Yeah, if he gets the 9 or more wins, he has done one massive coaching job. That's the way I look at it. If he gets to those kind of wins, then for all the negativity that went on last year, we can completely reverse it and add a ton of positivity, because that would be one hell of an accomplishment. I'm kind of targeting. I'm staying in the 7 to 8 win window for them. I think that would be a major jump for them because they got to learn how to win too. And all that. This team hasn't even learned how to win yet. I think there's a process, to all of it. So is Tyler convincing himself that he's satisfied and happy about where he's at, or is it something that he does look really comfortable in the offense with the offensive coaching staff now? What do you see it? Is it a player trying to talk himself into being positive, or is he in a really good place right now?
I think he is positive because he feels more belief in this team. We talked a lot about that leadership council that I mentioned earlier. The fact that it's gone from 6 guys, with guys that are no longer here. Lou Hadley was one of those 6 guys. DJ Ivey was one of those 6 guys. There's only 3 of those guys back, and they added 10 leadership council at Miami. You basically need the support of all your teammates. So the fact that number has grown from 6 to 13 in Tyler's eyes, the fact that those guys, there's more investment, right, in calling each other out, which is something Cam Kitchens echoed. They feel like there's more ownership of this team, and guys can communicate and talk to each other and be frank when they're screwing up. They can call each other out. And so for all of those reasons alone, he has confidence that things are going to change with this team. As far as the offense is concerned, I think without question, he's more at home in this offense, in this, air raid type attack. I think there's a level of confidence in the receivers that maybe he didn't have a year ago. I think Colby Young has stepped up. His performance, Mario talked about that today. I think overall, they have more talent and speed at that position between, Ray Joseph, the true freshman that they added, You look at the transfers. They picked up a couple dudes here. Shamar Kirk, the kid they picked up from Alabama, was one of the fastest in the country. All of those guys, they're excited about, helping bring some more energy to this offense.
Yeah, let's do that. All right, what are you working on the Athletics? The folks can check you out.
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'll have quite a few reports here in Charlotte. Certainly I'll have a Miami story tomorrow for people to read off of my conversations today. A lot of one-on-one type conversations. Obviously Florida State and Clemson are sort of viewed as the best programs in the league right now. I'll have a breakdown of that, of the potential Clemson FSU matchups, which we'll probably end up seeing twice this year because remember there's no divisions anymore, so you can have the two best teams in the championship game. And plenty more. Louisville's got a new coach, Jeff Brom, who's taking over. I'll have a chance to sit and talk with him. I'm going to get a chance to talk with Mike Norvell probably tomorrow. So a lot of information coming out in the Athletic from the ACC kickoff.
Follow him on Twitter at Manny_Navarro. Manny, enjoy yourself out there in Charlotte, my friend. We'll catch up later in the week.
All right, brother. Talk soon.
Thank you, sir. There you go. Manny Navarro. Don't forget, go to caneswear.com, baby. Order over $99. You will get free shipping. They've got anything and everything practically with the Canes logo on it. And tonight is InterMiami in action against Atlanta. Leagues Cup action. Man, you could go get your Messi jersey, hats, shirts, all kinds of InterMiami gear there at Caneswear, baby. You can get Dolphin gear, Heat gear, Marlins gear. Come on, man. Panthers gear. Get on down there, go to Caneswear. And if you don't live in that Broward area, maybe it's too far for you to drive, and go to caneswear.com and have it delivered to your home, man. Over $99, you will get free shipping. So tell them that Big O sent you. Caneswear.com.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.